So, Laura, you're a yoga instructor and you opened this studio in 2022?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Well, this one, this is like, we're calling it Breathing Space 2.0.
Okay.
This was this time last year
Right.
it opened, so like pretty much a year ago. And then prior to that, so I guess that was probably 2022. Yeah, it would have been, because it was just after COVID.
That was me
up
just
on
reading shit off the
Huntley
internet.
Street. Ah, good research. Good research.
Doing a little bit,
10
you know.
out of 10.
Thought I better come in here and learn something, you know.
Yeah, so Breathing Space, well, it actually originated online. It was meant to just be an online platform. But then, yeah, Huntley Street 2022.
Cool. So what got you into yoga in the first place? Why did you start practicing it? And then like what led you to opening the studio instead of keeping it online?
So I used to have an office job, and then I had like a wee side hustle as a Group X instructor. So I used to go around all the gyms and do like a wee Les Mills class.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah.
I can't picture that.
Can you not?
It's like you picturing me running.
Yeah, I used to do all that for years, and then I had one of the girls that I also did the Group X with, Sarah Black. She became a yoga teacher, and I went to a few of her classes and just loved it. And then found this other lassie, Laura McCrimmon, who just did amazing vinyasa classes in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just really, really enjoyed it. But trying to fit yoga in when you've got like a full-time job plus doing all these Group X classes. I was teaching like 2-3 times every day. Like, it was just ridiculous. It was so stupid. But anyway, when COVID started, I was put on furlough and all the gyms closed. Wow. So I'd gone from having like fuck all free time to just nothing but time. Yeah. So then started just doing online yoga classes with like these girls, Laura McCrimmon and Sarah Black, and then there was lassies down in Edinburgh and Glasgow. You could just jump in, could do like classes 3 times a day because there was nothing else to do. So with that, because I was put on furlough, I thought, well, I'll maybe do my online yoga teacher training.
I think it's made a lot of people more creative, the COVID things, you know, it was just you nothing else to do but think.
Yeah.
You know
Were you a PT at that time?
No, I was an electrician for over a decade.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and when COVID first hit, I had 3 employees. So they all had to go on. I kept it going as long as I could, so I put one off because we didn't have the work, and then another, and then it was just me, and then it was like you're not allowed to go anywhere, you're not allowed to do any work. So yeah, it was brutal because my guys got paid through furlough, but the business owners didn't get anything until it was like a few months later, and then the way they worked it out, you didn't get a lot. So it was brutal. And I tried to hold it off for as long as possible, but it just wasn't happening. I had to bend the whole thing. What's been the hardest part of running the studio?
It definitely changes. To start with, it was I wasn't in like a good space mentally. I really struggled when
off the back of the COVID stuff as well.
No, actually, I'd always felt quite positive during COVID.
Yeah.
Like I'd built this yoga
of those people
situation
that just bloomed during COVID.
Kinda. My house is the cleanest it had ever been. Like I didn't mind not seeing people. It was quite nice.
That was a bonus for me as well. Yeah.
It wasn't too bad. No, COVID was fine. It was coming back, and I don't know if you find this as well, but you had a job as an electrician. I had a job in an office where you're not a face of anything. There's not really that much, well, I don't know, maybe electrician there is, but for me there wasn't any judgment there. Okay. And then to come into the like yoga space in Aberdeen and open a studio, something that like not everyone's doing, and it is from like it felt like a place of privilege, and I just lost my shit completely. Like imposter syndrome was rife, anxiety was so high.
I got that as well, like, really bad, and it was weird because I'm used to being able to talk and be grilled by anyone in the sparky world, and then coming into the PT space, I'm like, I should not be here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And it makes no sense, because everyone's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But your wee like mental brain's just like, nah, you don't deserve this. What are you doing? Everyone's judging you.
Are you over it now?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't do this. Yeah, what was it, nearly 3 years? You couldn't do this and care about what everyone thinks about you. It would
No,
kill
absolutely
you.
not.
It
Yeah.
would absolutely kill me. So yeah, that bit's kind of gone. That feels easier. Like, head down, just get on, do what I got to do.
Good, yeah.
But it's probably because the studio's open 7 days a week. I feel like you're never really getting a day off. You're always like, I've always thinking about, I've got like 4 emails in my inbox that I really should have replied to 2 days ago, but I'm trying to like just have a nice day off, and then I'm remembering, holy fuck, was somebody meant to be in here? Was I meant to be letting someone in? But
that's when you remember the business side of it.
yeah,
Rather than just having fun with it part.
yeah, and I love the fun part, but it would be nice maybe just for a day to be like, can you just take this and I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, just have no responsibility for a wee while. You've been doing it for a while, so you must find it somewhat rewarding.
Oh yeah.
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 And what, is it the people? Is it just that you've got your own time, your own space, kind of thing? Like, what's the most rewarding part out of it? What keeps you going?
Yeah, 100% the people. I think when I started the studio, I wanted to have this like line where I was the yoga teacher and the studio owner, and people came in and they were my yogis and they did their thing and I helped them. But the more that the studio's evolved, it's just all about community now.
Yeah.
So people come in and like everyone knows each other and they're all chatting to each other. And to the point now that when I leave the studio, more often than not, I'm leaving with one of the, well, they probably are, they would be if they could, snoozing in a corner somewhere. No, they'll like come with me and we're away having coffee or getting breakfast or taking them down to your gym for a class, because actually it's stupid to try and keep that barrier of like teacher-student relationship, because
and like I said earlier, it's easier to make friends than it is clients.
Oh
kind of
yeah.
thing. I think there's a stronger bond there. But your like, following's like super engaging, like, and you can see that they do follow you. Hello.
Sorry.
Come and
Sit
join
down,
us.
Maggie.
We'll get you a mic
Sit.
as well.
Hey. Sit down.
So like, what makes that community unique?
I think when I started, I used to teach at David Lloyd's, and I think I remember this very clearly at David Lloyd's, that you'd come in and I'd have this register and everyone would sit down and I'd go through the register before a yoga class down there and be like, oh, hi, Debs, like, how you doing? What's been happening this week? And she'd tell me the story, and then Jake comes in the other corner. I'm like, Jake, you're here, how you doing? And tell me the story. And then every Tuesday we did that, and I started to notice everyone speaking to each other and asking about what they did last week. So when I opened the studio here, I was like, well, let's just keep that going.
Yeah.
And actually, I think that's one of the nicest bits about the yoga class. Like, they come to this class, but if I can introduce them to each other, Maggie, stop being needy. If I can introduce them to each other and they can have wee chats together and people feel seen. Yeah, absolutely. It's not just turning up to a exercise class or a weights class or a yoga class. There's this community bond.
Yeah, I get that. I think it makes it more comfortable as well. So when they all talk with each other, the more, rather than just being a room full of strangers getting told what to do and they can be quite quiet, it's, they tend to be more free. Yeah. I think.
I quite like that about your class as well, that I feel like people aren't afraid to ask you, but also ask anyone else round about them, like if they need a hand.
Well, Andy said the same thing. I was busy with somebody else, and the new person that was in was next to him, and even though that could be probably quite intimidating with Andy lifting weights next to a newcomer, she was happy enough to ask him for advice, and then I clocked it was happening and was able to help her as well. But that's good. That's healthy, I think. It's a nicer place to be. It's miserable as well. Like, I've done classes at Pure Gym where nobody speaks, nobody wants to know. They just want to come in and get their class and go away. And It's also my downfall as well, because I need to concentrate on timekeeping, and I let time just completely run away because I'm interested in what people are doing. And I'm like, oh yeah, so we should probably get started.
Yeah. Nobody minds.
So it interests me as well that you come to the strength classes from a yoga background, and I can't remember how that started or come about, and if you were going to High Rocks and then seen that class was on and tried it and then just never left me alone or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
But like, so from your point of view, how do you see yoga and strength? Because I think for most people that's quite opposite. It feels quite opposite thing. But like, how do you see them complementing each other?
I think all yogis should be doing some lifting. But I think, like, from your strongman side, I guess people who maybe naturally don't enjoy cardio but can build muscle really quick and maybe have no fear. Yeah. That's like people that would come to strongman sort of shit. Yeah. Yoga is normally thin people that are easily bendy or hypermobile. Okay, yeah. And what do hypermobile people need? Strength. Yeah. And you can like build that in yoga. But the more I see it, the more I learn, the more I feel like your body adapts so quickly. Yeah. That, you know, you can't just keep doing the same yoga postures. You've got to add something else in. Yeah. So I think that's why I think everyone else should be doing a bit of weightlifting. Yeah. But for me, I just like.
Have you noticed the benefits of strength training in your own routine?
Yeah. I started. Well, I used to like do body pump, but we'll not talk about that. But then I started going to CrossFit Emergence. Right. So I used to be there like 1 or 2 times a week, and just loved chucking barbells and dumbbells about. Absolutely loved it. So then when that closed down, that's when I started at Results doing the High Rocks, but there just wasn't enough weightlifting. Yeah. And then I found your class, and when I had that dip between Emergence closing and finding your class, I did notice a difference. Things definitely feel so much stronger now, and like you'll know yourself when I'm in your classes and I'm like having a wee go handstand, because you just feel everything's more aware. Yeah, absolutely.
And everything's engaged and switched on.
Absolutely, yeah. You can just catch things a little bit easier. But yeah, I think it's definitely helping
Definitely
me.
Helping, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
To be fair, I would say it helps, but it also hinders. So I practice Ashtanga up at Love Yoga. That's like my kind of, you get like different kinds of yoga. Right. And Ashtanga, there's lots of arm balancy things, which is great, but there's also like twisty, bindy sort of things. Okay, yeah. And I've noticed.
You feel the strength makes you a bit tighter for that.
Yes. As I get stronger, my arm balances are getting better, my twists and my binds are getting harder because my shoulders are less mobile. I'm definitely not hench, but like when you know your body, like these little changes you start to notice, and I'm like, oh, this feels gnarly.
That's pretty cool.
Have you tried yoga before?
I've not. Well, actually, I have. So everybody's downloaded those apps, right? I'm pretty sure I still get charged for it because I keep forgetting to cancel it. It's like a yearly thing. Because I had it for myself ages ago. I don't know if this was during COVID or what, but I was just super stiff. So I'm like, let's try it. Okay. And it was okay. It was really hard. Yeah. It was really hard. I had no input at all. It was just following an app. And then I got it for Danny. I got a pregnancy one, which kind of avoided all the core stuff and it was a bit more gentle. And you could stage it as well. I think that's the one I keep getting charged for. And she'd done that most days and got on pretty well with it. And it was nice because it was just like 10-15 minutes or whatever. The kids were copying doing it as well.
That's so great.
I think Penelope was like 2 at the time and she was doing headstands and stuff.
Brilliant.
It was pretty cool. But apart from that, I've never been to a class. Yeah. I can't say I've ever done it properly. So,
Only to get you and Andy and Chris down one day.
no short shorts though.
Oh, no short shorts allowed. Absolutely
He'll be watching
not.
as well. I'm definitely leaving that bit in. I think it's become a bit of a competition between Andy and Chris, so who can wear the shortest shorts.
Shorts. I'm pretty sure
I tell
I
them we're
seen
going
some
to do a
balls
hot
last
pants
Friday.
class one day, just for them.
At least the hot pants would keep everything in.
Yeah, imagine people walking past with the shutters up, seeing that. That's next level.
Poor guys.
You get the red lights on the kettlebells. Yeah, that's maybe something to think about. I'll run it by Lewis.
I think it's a whole different license you need for that job.
Yeah, probably, yeah. It's, yeah, after 9 o'clock stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
So we talk about the strength and the yoga stuff, and like I love it when people bring me myths, just absolute nonsense, usually coming from Instagram, and just rubbishing them. Do you get that with yoga or strength training? Like people just bringing the absolute nonsense that they've heard and you correcting them?
Oh. There's so much stuff about yoga, but not so much. I mean, the most frustrating thing would probably be that, you know, people come and, it's not frustrating, I guess, but like people come and think that it's just a stretch class.
Okay, yeah.
And you're like, well, do you know what? It can be, be, and if that's how like it starts, then that's great.
They soon change their mind.
Yeah, try and change their mind. Yeah. But I guess like really yoga could be whatever you want it to be for whatever you need it to be. So
Yeah.
I should probably be more open-minded. Why? What kind of myths do you get with the strength stuff?
Yeah, and it's usually revolves around when people have got cardio goals or like they don't want to do strength for it to ruin that, or they don't want to do cardio because it'll ruin their strength, kind of thing, and it's kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit in it. Like you're never going to see a chunky marathon runner, professional, and likewise, you're not going to see anybody massive winning a marathon.
But most of us aren't pros.
Exactly. And I think with the CrossFit and High Rock stuff more coming into light and get more exposure, you can kind of they're like the best of both worlds, where you can be functionally fit, you can be strong with relative size as well if that's your goal, and you can be fast and fit as well, cardio wise. I think that specifically for women as well, want to get often is I don't want to lift heavy. I don't want to do strength training because I don't want to be chunky or look like a man.
Do people still say that?
Yeah, and it's
really?
like it doesn't work like that.
Oh my
and
goodness.
even for males, it's like you're not going to by accident wake up looking like Arnold.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. And particularly for females, I think they need to put in quite a bit of work to get close to that.
Yeah.
But I think social media skews that quite a lot as well, because like nobody talks about PEDs or anything like that. They all deny it. They don't talk about their diets, and a lot of people don't look like that all year round. Do you know what I mean?
The influencer type.
Yeah,
things.
and
do
you know, you can be fit and healthy, and strong and fast, and all of it. Even in my own training, with doing this level up stuff, with stripping off fat, I still feel, even though I don't feel like I've got the energy to express my full strength just now, with being in a deficit, but I still got mad strength there, but I'm faster and my cardio is better. And so moving into next year, when I finish this program, go back on the strongman stuff, I'm going to keep quite a bit of cardio in, as well as all my strength stuff, and I'm going to train completely differently. And I don't expect it to affect my strength at all. Even going from when I was powerlifting into strongman, the powerlifting, like I wasn't a fan of cardio at all, and so the powerlifting was perfect for that because it was just very static lifting. But I found that the further I got on in that, I was statically strong, but there were useless lifts in the real world.
Oh, right,
Do you know what I mean? Nobody goes about squat and stuff or deadlifting, and because I wasn't putting in cardio, and I think a lot of them don't. I was statically strong, but I couldn't go up a set of stairs without breathing out my arse. Do you know what I mean? And that's useless.
Yeah.
Whereas the strongman stuff, when I got into that, it was grueling to start with, but a lot of it's kind of forced cardio. It's not quite cardio. It's certainly not steady state for any length of time, but that kind of anaerobic, explosive repeats, run about with sandbags and yokes and things, quite a bit more moving. I felt better, and it didn't affect my strength. I got stronger, but I was able to move without gassing out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which
That's
is
brilliant.
was kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Somewhat. I mean, I could definitely improve my cardio, but yeah, that's for another day.
Yeah.
But it's just learning again, and I think that's partly why I've done the level up stuff as well with them, is because, for one, I wanted to show that it was possible and what you could do, but then I'm learning as well, and then again it's going to change my training going into next year.
Yeah.
So it was worth it.
Absolutely.
For me to do that.
That's great. It's so good, like that it's actually functional, because I would have thought strongman would be, as you say, hench, that you can't move. But it's really interesting in your classes where you are like jumping and touching your toes.
It always amazes
there
people.
Is mobility.
So honestly, like the manager of Pure Gym that I was in, a few times he's just come in the class and like, hey, have you seen this guy jump? I'm like, stop it.
Pony.
Yeah. But it was, even when I was demonstrating stuff, like when I go around and demonstrate exercises and like do box jumps or broad jumps, and like the amount of times that I've just done that with no warning, and people are like, oh, like just don't expect me to move.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can. And I don't do jump training or anything like that, but it's just from strength and being athletic.
Yeah.
You can move.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It's freeing, to know that Danny gets annoyed at me because she can't catch me, and I weigh like twice as much as her. I can still catch the kids and I can still outrun them.
Oh, good. Is that really what all your training's for?
Yeah, that's it. It's keeping up with them. Making sure I'm still on top.
Oh man, that's so good. Kind of like similar to yoga, I think.
Yeah.
It could be like crazy things like big back bends and handstands and whatever else, but actually it's just about being functional, so that you can move and so you can look after people around you and like not be injured every
absolutely,
week when it's icy outside and stuff. It's there's definitely a lot of parallels between.
Yeah, I think there's more bridges than people think. There's more links between it than people think. And like with being injury free as well, that's strength as well. The stronger you are, that is your injury prevention.
Yeah.
It's being strong. Do you know what I mean? And like especially going into like older ages as well, the like just regular strength training like prevent a lot of falls and things, like helps keep your balance.
Yeah. I don't know if we've told you this yet, but so with the type of yoga I teach, it tends to be vinyasa, or like I'll throw in an Ashtanga class sometimes. But a lot of it is, we do these vinyasas where you come into like Chaturanga Dandasana, which is your almost like plank, and then bending your elbows.
Okay.
And there's this repetition, you kind of keep doing it. And I've got a few girls that have had wrist issues.
Really?
And we're like, well, is it from the vinyasa? Maybe. Is it from being on your keyboard too much? I don't know, maybe. But I had a workshop that was up at Love Yoga with this guy, James Bogue. And he was like, well, it's probably because your wrists are weak if there's injuries. And we've been doing this strengthening stuff, but maybe the yoga wasn't enough. And these girls have now came to your class, Julia and Bryony.
Oh yeah.
Both with the wrist issues.
Yeah, I
and
know.
Both now fixed because
really?
They think it's like the barbell strength.
Amazing.
And actually just building that strength in the wrists. So now they're coming to yoga on a Thursday night and feeling just brand new with these chaturangas.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
it's cool. It's really good to see.
Yeah, wrist is a big thing, and even for me, I've been through a lot of that pain as well. And yeah, just getting stronger in different positions,
Yeah.
holding the bar, pulling, pushing. Yeah, it's going to strengthen up the muscles around it. It's going to help. And that's the same with a lot of joints. Strengthening up the muscles around the joints is going to help that joint be more supported.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Rather than just being flexible or stretching it out.
It's just,
Do you know what I
that's
mean?
it. And like that's it. Like as we were saying earlier, like you've got to keep learning, and that's what I used to do to start with. I'd like start with warm-ups, and we'd be mobilizing the wrists and like playing with movements. But actually, that's probably just making it worse.
Yeah,
like
I mean, heating it up's one thing,
strength.
yeah, and getting blood flow through it, definitely. But yeah, if it's not progressive.
Yeah.
It's warming it up. It's making it more flexible. But is it continually progressive? Like how flexible can you realistically get? Do you know what I mean? It's going to be a stop point. But yeah, the strength is ever progressive, so you can always make it stronger.
Yeah.
So which is going to help. Certainly won't make it any worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've been bringing new members to my classes most Fridays, which is great. And I call it the clown car. It amazes me because it's such a small car, and then it's like, oh, like, how many today? And it's just people start piling out the back of your car.
Maybe 500.
Yeah. But yeah, you like. How important is it for you for your members to explore activities outside of yoga? And like, do you encourage it?
Yeah. So the folk I've been taking at your class is probably more, they're like yogis that kind of turned friends, and I just, I feel being self-employed, like I just get lonely. So if I can like bring people and like make it more fun for myself, I will. So that's kind of how they got dragged along. But then obviously on Saturday we did that Saturday social where that was just a call out to all the yogis and brought them all down. And yeah, I just think, especially like yoga, it's sad that it is, but it is a predominantly female-based thing. We've got a few guys that come to classes here, but if it's a full class, the majority of them are women. Yeah. And I think girls do just feel a little bit nervy about going and chucking weights around or going into a new gym, because they always, all of them on that Saturday was like, oh, I'm so weak, I'm really nervous, I'm not going to manage this.
Well, that's
like,
all the more reason though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think like it turned into a kind of side mission on when you brought them all down on Saturday for that private session. And it was Hochen. We were 12 people in. It was great. It was amazing seeing all those barbells. Like, that's my art. That looks amazing for me. I think I took about 10 photos of the barbells for you as turned out, because I'm like, makes me so happy.
It's brilliant. People lifting.
And then just people lifting all up that hall. Was crazy.
So good. But I think that's it. They felt comfortable to come because they all knew that they were going to know each other. And they knew that not that you're not safe, but they know that I'm safe. Yeah, and then if fans coming to you. So if I can get more people like going that way, and then they'll feel more comfortable to go and lift weights in their own time or whatever. Yeah, that's a treat.
In that class, I kind of became a side mission in that class was to get people to be surprised at what they could do. Yeah. And the amount of people who got lifting the sandbags over things like, I can't do it. And I'm like, you can do it.
And they did it.
They did, yeah. And the same with the lifts, with the deadlift and everything. People were just so much more capable than what they think they are. Yeah. I think you could still see the fear around pushing it, wanting to lift too heavy. And not wanting to hurt themselves. And I think that's another kind of myth around that as well, is you're not likely not going to hurt yourself. I mean, the lifting was fine, form was on point. Yeah. Do you need to push it? It kind of comes with time as well. Like a bit more practice in it, going, getting all the reps in until you are comfortable, and then pushing it a little bit. But yeah, progressing, I think people will be surprised how strong you can get, how much better you feel for it as well. Oh yeah. Like, from my point of view, I feel life is just so much easier when you're stronger. Yeah. Do you know, I feel more safe, more confident in myself being stronger. Like, I can't imagine ever being weak. No, it's it would be horrible. I feel like I'm a better protector for the family as well.
Oh yeah,
You
that's
know
a
what I
nice way
mean?
to put it.
That's I've told you about like the zombie apocalypse
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, it's
I love that.
it's such a, I don't know if that's just like a childish boy dream thing, but it's like, you know, if what would I do in a zombie apocalypse if I can't protect myself and like people around me? Like, what use is that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's I wouldn't say it's something I live by, but it's a thought that I
If
kind
you've
of
got to
always
live by
have.
something,
Like,
why not that? That's
and everybody
great.
goes through that like dangerous imagination, like what would I do in this situation?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And if you're like if you can't imagine yourself doing something useful in that, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I really like that.
And it's like it's the same like we take the kids swimming quite often, and like if you can't pull yourself out of a swimming pool, that's not good.
Yeah.
Do you know, you're
good.
useless to save yourself.
Yeah.
And that goes for adults as well. I think a lot of adults still fall into that category, and it's very different. So we went kayaking in Oban last year. My dad's got a couple of like blow up kayaks. So we take them with us, and we were in the sea. The sea's very different from doing it in a loch because then you've got the waves and everything. It's a bit different, and it's freezing. It was freezing. But I was like, you know, going in the swimming pool is one thing. If you fall out the boat, what would you do? I don't know, like, be fine, just swim, got life jackets on. I'm like, yeah, but would you? I'm like, it's going to take your breath away, you can't really think. And so we're like, right, we're doing capsize training.
Brilliant.
So actually, eldest daughter that done it first.
Yeah.
I'm like, just held her onto their jacket. I'm like, I'm going to throw you into the sea, and you've to just sort your breathing out, sort your head out, and try and think, and then sort yourself, and then you can stand back up. And she was all for it, and threw her, and she got her breathing under control pretty quick. Got her thinking, and then she swam in far enough that she could stand. It's like our middle child was just screaming the whole beach down, screaming for his mum and everything. He was having us on. He wasn't in any danger. I'm like, fine, we won't do it. And then I pushed him over. But yeah, he sorted it, and he thought it was the best thing ever. And they done it a couple of times, and then of course they called me on my bluff, and I had to do it.
Good, thank God.
So we did it, and then we went back to where we were staying, and they were like, Mum, we done survival training, and we survived. So that was a win, I think.
That's brilliant. That's
but yeah,
so
I think
good.
you need to be able to look after yourself. That's kind of fitness on a deeper level. I think if you can't, that's a problem. Yeah? And that should be reason enough for you to be stronger.
Yeah,
be
for
fitter,
sure.
do you know what I mean?
I think like mentally as well, and this is definitely a yoga thing as well, that we live lives of just so much comfort, like too much comfort. So to lift something where you're actually
Just
like a little bit scared of yourself, or you are like uncomfortable. Same with yoga, where you're in like binds where you're struggling to breathe, or things do just feel a little bit shit, and you've got to really check in with yourself and be like, okay, what's going on? What am I thinking about? How do I calm? How do I relax? It's so good mentally as well.
Yeah, I think so. Like, so do you think, like when you can push yourself through a program, particularly when you don't really want to do it, like I feel that prepares you more for discomforts outside as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you can handle that, then you're more likely to be able to handle that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you're capable of pushing yourself through, especially when it becomes mentally difficult, not just physically, I think that prepares you more for outside life, real life. Do you know
absolutely.
what I mean?
It's amazing how our brains like interlink all these things. So, you know, you'd never sit and think whatever like shit is going on in your personal life that you'll be stronger because you were lifting weights and like you were uncomfortable. But actually your brain is linking all these things
able
up.
To do uncomfortable
You've been
things.
scared before, you can be scared again.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, definitely get outside the comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's the only place to grow.
I feel like a fraud now because High Rocks, like I hated it so much and I didn't persevere, I just gave up.
maybe again, another time.
Maybe
We'll
I'll
try
go back
CrossFit.
to it. Maybe. Oh man.
Was it difficult encouraging people to come down to the strength class then, or were they pretty up
the
for
Saturday
it,
one? The Saturday one, no. we could have done that like 3 times over.
Really?
There were so many people
Wow.
interested in coming.
That's great. What do you think the drive was for that?
Again, it was just, I really think it was just that community thing where they felt safe that they could come and like
Yeah.
have a play at lifting weights with like no judgment.
Safety in numbers.
Totally, totally. I really do think that's what it was. And then like the Friday morning like strength circuits that we do every day, like every week, like that, I thought it was going to be a hard sell, but as soon as one person came with me,
Yeah.
it was funny actually, they didn't trust what I said.
Really?
They're like, you're going to say you love this regardless because you like weird stuff. But as soon as they started speaking to each other, I was like, oh no, this is good. It was such an easy sell once they're all like chatting to each other about it. So it's just getting people like in the door, I think, isn't it?
And then it just spread.
Yeah, it does.
It's because I'm awesome.
Yeah. You do. Do you know what? It is good because I feel like every time we go there, we learn something new, you have a laugh, and if you're fucking stuff up, you're not like...
You're not going to be ridiculed for
yes,
it.
Yeah, that's it. You just...
Oh, the support's there 100%. And I joke about peer pressure in it. But I don't push anybody that's not kind of ready for it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's
I've seen that.
It's still in an encouraging way. And it's very much adaptable to whoever's situation. Do you know what I mean? We've had people in injuries. We've had Elena,
pregnant Ella,
still smashing it. Yeah, it's crazy. It does fit every level. And then you see the hype that goes on behind PBs, and when people were doing PBs. It's great.
So good.
I thought I maybe pushed it too far when I got Andy onto my bar in the middle of the floor.
Oh,
but he took it really.
That.
Yeah, he did. He lapped it up.
That's what he needed.
I said to him before it, I was like, "Do you want the whole show?"
Did you really? Did he say yes?
I don't think he knew what I was talking about. And I'm like, right, this is what's gonna happen. But yeah, no, it was great, and he got cheered on, and then he hit another PB straight after it as well.
Was that the one where there was like 3 in a row and you just kept going or something?
He had done.
That was pretty
wild. He'd done like 135 or something, and he was going for 140.
That's incredible that you remember that.
As well. Yeah.
Well done.
I
you
totally
really do know
invested
your
in
clients.
people, yeah. Totally
cool.
invested in people,
cool.
what they're doing, what they're lifting. Yeah, I mean, I do get muddled sometimes, but it's a lot of numbers to remember.
A lot of numbers, a lot of names.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how do you personally balance the strength in yoga and any other exercise that you do? Like, is it just yoga and strength, or different types of yoga?
Yeah.
And the strength stuff.
I struggle.
Yeah.
I struggle, and I don't have. What is it? 7 kids?
Yeah.
I don't even have 1 kid. I don't know how you do it. So
they're the same as dogs.
Are they really?
Yeah, but they talk back.
It's terrible. So like traditionally, Ashtanga yoga would be practiced 6 days a week, and then you have Sunday off as your rest day. So every morning, you'd get up and do your yoga practice, whether it's like 5 minutes or 2 hours. But how you do that and teach classes and run a business and then get strength training in as well.
Yeah, so you're kind of doubly loaded because you're doing your own stuff. Do you do your own stuff and then teach it as well?
Yeah,
separately?
teaching classes is not a practice, and it would bug me if people thought that it was. It'd be like you lifting the odd weight in your strength circuits and calling that a session. Yeah, it's not the same. So I'm really lucky that I got to love yoga and do a practice there. Try and go like 2 or 3 times a week. So whether that's like a Mysore where you go in and it's like a self-practice and the teacher just gives you a hand, Charlie, which she's great. She is incredible. Yeah. Or she also does a lead class on a Saturday. So I love a Saturday because she's teaching 7:30 to 9:30.
You just have to think about it.
Yeah, turn up, do the class, and then I wander down here and teach 10 till 11 on a Saturday. And last Saturday was even better because then we wandered down to the gym and did a
double session,
weight session as well, so that was good. But yeah, the business is starting to just, like with yoga, you're meant to kind of get up and just roll onto your mat, but I keep finding that I've got to like check my emails first and check that nothing's gone wrong with the studio, and then check my WhatsApps in case any of the teachers like need something before classes, and it's just
That's a trap.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to like balance everything. And I should be doing more. You know, I've got a friend that's a PT, Ian, and he like gave me like what I should be doing in a week, because he knows yoga and he knows Ashtanga yoga, so he knows like, you know, I don't know. I think people would probably think that yoga isn't a workout.
Yeah.
But personally, when you're sweating and your heart rate's up to 150, I think, well, it probably is a little bit.
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, he was like, well, try and lift weights like 2-3 times a week, and then get a few bursts of cardio in as well. And I'm like, oh, God, I don't know. I probably need to speak to you, Brett. I probably need to just get a PT in or something.
How to fit all that together, yeah.
I don't know.
It'll be possible. There'll be a way.
There'll be a way.
So your weekly routine is pretty packed in so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like it that way, and you know, it works. I can work it around my business.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
So you're doing yoga 6 times a week for yourself?
Yeah.
And the strength training on a Friday?
Yeah.
And then teaching it all in between that as well?
Yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah. I cut my classes drastically when I started with the studio. I used to teach like 16, 18 classes a week. But now I only teach like much. 7 or 8. Yeah. So it's quite nice, and there's a balance.
You feel more freedom when you're able to get that time back to yourself,
Yeah, for sure. You know, some of those classes you teach, and I'm like, oh my God, money. I'm a nightmare. I undercharge. Every single thing I do, I undercharge. But some classes I was teaching, and it was like £20, and I'm like killing myself to get there on time and get home and things. So to like get rid of all of that and just be in the studio, and it feels like, I don't know, you're probably the same. If you overbook your week, you feel like you're not given as much as you could, whereas if you
it does get
control
a lot, especially with your own training and stuff, and then if it's like a really long day, it can be a lot to give everything to every client. So is somebody new to yoga, or even not new to yoga, somebody just hell-bent on just doing yoga, like how would you advise it, or what advice would you give them to branching out from that, exploring other activities or like strength training?
I don't know, I'd probably just tell them to do what they enjoy. I think you've got to, we've only got like so much time, as we were just saying there. Like if you're going to plug your time into something, you've got to really make sure that you love it.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to just keep trying things until you find what you do love. Because maybe it's strength training, or maybe it's Maggie, not everyone likes that stuff. Chill, hey, leave Brett. Or like rock climbing, you know, getting down to transition extreme, because then it's still like pulling some sort of strength there. Just, I don't know, anything that you can do that gets you moving and gets you lifting, if you love it, just
and it doesn't feel as much of a chore then as well.
Yeah, and that's why I love the classes. I maybe should have said this right at the start. I don't lift weights on my own.
Oh well, I got that from your routine, like all the yoga that you're doing, and then
I don't lift weights on my own. I only do it because it's fun and you're with people. So how do you make it fun? And just figure it out and do that. Yeah, join a class with Brett. That's the one.
Shout at you. And, were you there on that session when we were doing overheads, and I was encouraging people to drop the weights?
Yes.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah. Like, how much fun did people have it? It was so freeing. Getting rid of that control at the top and just dropping it. I think it turned into a bit of a racket room for a minute. It was just pure chaos.
It felt like therapy. We were chatting about it on the way back, and I can't remember, one of the girls was like, oh, I wasn't quite able to drop it, but I'm buzzing to do it next time. I'm really going to go for it next time.
Yeah, it feels so good. Yeah. There's nothing better than a successful lift and then just ditching it.
Just dump it. Yeah. That was a busy class as well.
It was
like a cacophony of barbells just dropping.
Just barbells rolling about everywhere.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it was good. That's one of my favourite feelings.
Is it? Chucking a barbell.
It's just because you've completed the lift and it's done, and it's kind of almost a celebration of the lift.
Yeah.
Good. How you feel?
Good.
Yeah.
What?
Feel
You
more
alright?
comfortable? Yeah, I'm needing to eat. I'm like shaking.